All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, you can consider this computer desktop background, a cell phone background, whatever. But I'm going to go through what I like to call my neon light tutorial. Okay. And it's just a fun little effect, but it's a cool way to add some flair to your to any object, to any image that you're working with. So let's go with I'll do an athletic one. So let's go with go. That's the one we're gonna get. Okay, here we go. This is a big picture. Oh, money. Abort. I will right click and I will save you. Okay. Back to the drawing board. Let me go to Photoshop. See if this one works better. Oh, much better. Cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to have a laser wrapped all the way around him. And we have a lot of blue highlights here. So I might just end up making this a blue laser instead. Okay. Now what it's going to look like is here's the person in here and this neon laser is going to like wrap all the way around their body. So what we're going to do, I have my layers right here. I'm going to use my pen tool, which we've never really gone over in Photoshop, okay? The pen tool in Photoshop functions just like the pen tool in Illustrator. So if you think back to Graphic Design 1, when we created our silhouettes or our cartoon characters for our pen tool project, the dreaded Hello Kitty project, or when you guys made your own individual cartoon characters, if you ended up using the pen tool in your Papel Picado to do your little individual images that you used, it's the same concept. I'm going to go pen tool. I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to click and drag. And it works, like I said, just like a regular pen tool does. I click and drag this way, and I'm going to go behind his head, and I'm going to pull in front of his neck, and I'm actually going to take this back over his arm behind him. I'm going to come around this way, down, back around here, and I'm going to go, let's go like this. I'll make this tricky. I'll come this way. I don't want to make it too much. I'm here. Come back. Let's see. I went, let's see, in front, behind, in front, come back behind, and there. Go like this, and then I'll go like this. Okay, so this thing's going to wrap all the way around. And all I've done is I made this pen stroke. Well, now I want to fill it with a color. And the fun thing about the neon is that the inside color is going to be really, really, really bright. And your outside glowy color is going to be the actual color you want to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fill color by double clicking here, and I'm going to pick a bright blue that I want to use. So something like this, maybe a little whiter. And I'm going to press OK. And then I'm going to right click on the stroke that I have here. And when I right click on that, it's going to say stroke path. And I'm going to click yes. And it's going to say, what tool do you want to make your stroke path? Pencil, a brush, or whatever. I'm going to go with my brush. And then I'm going to press OK. You see what happens here is it fills that whole stroke with my brush stroke. Well, here's the problem. I'm going to undo that. What I want to do is I need to get my brush stroke first. I see that my flow is down at 5%. So I want that at 100 so I can fully see it. See, now watch if I go like this. Pen tool. I right click. I go stroke path, brush, okay. Now you see it's solid. Okay, it looks a little bit better. It's kind of soft on the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo that again. I'm going to go to my brush setting, and I'm going to make the edge of my brush pretty hard. I'll go to 100%. See what that looks like. Okay. I'll go to my pen tool again. I'll right click, and I'll go to stroke path. I'll brush, I press OK. There you go. That's pretty cool. Now, it might be a little too thick for me, and now that I'm looking at it, it might even be a little too blue. So one more time, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my paintbrush. I'm going to take this down. It's at 15. I'm going to go down to like, 10. See if that works. I'm going to take this blue that I have, and I'll make a little more white. Press OK, and now I should be fine. Again, pen tool, right click, stroke path, press OK, and then it drops that on there. Okay. Let's notice one more problem that I had. I just made that on my background. I don't want it on my background. So let me undo that one more time. I'll make a new layer. Now I'll right click, I'll stroke path, I'll brush tool, I'll press OK, and I'll have that. Now, there's my shape that I have. But I have this stroke there, which I still don't want to kind of leave. So this is a different thing that also we haven't done yet. In my layers, I have all these different choices up here. And one of them is the one that says paths. Okay. And my paths is this work path here, which is what I had just made. I made this giant pen path. Well, if I click on my path down here, if you don't see path, like always, you go to window and you'll see it down there. But what I want to do is I want to click on this layer, and then I'll delete it. Do you want to delete your work path? I press yes. And now you see that little center line is gone. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so now that I have that, so now this is the paint layer. Let me zoom in so we can see it. Okay, so it looks like this. And now this is where we get creative and we use our eraser. So here's my layer. I'll title this laser just to make sure we're all on the same page. And I'll grab my eraser and I'll go like this. See how I'm erasing this layer? I'm not erasing the picture itself. Okay, I come through like this hair, like that. So I'll end up doing that throughout the entire thing. The last effect I'm going to do is, remember back to when we were working with text and we're adding drop shadows and we're adding outer glows and all these little different things. I'm going to double click on this layer here, not on the text itself. But I'm going to double click off to the side where I can add an effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down. I'm going to find my outer glow. With my outer glow, I can adjust this, but I'm going to mainly adjust this color and find my blue. And you see what happens is if I take this blue color and I adjust the spread and the size, see how it looks like a laser? So again, the inner color being light is super important. But then when you adjust this spread on the outside and give it that little glow, that's what really kind of pushes it into that next level of being this laser. And then you see too, because there's that glow, it already bleeds over onto him a little bit. Okay. So if that's the color that I want, I can leave it there. I can decide too if I would like to adjust this light a little more, but I think that dark blue is pretty sick. So I'll go back to that blue. And that looks pretty solid. Okay. And now I'm just going to play with it. So I press OK. My layer is now set. I have my effect on it. I have this. I'm going to go with my eraser. And let's see. This is going to come in front of his face. And then it's going to go back behind his head right here. So I'm going to click. I'm going to adjust. Make this go behind his neck. And this one I have to be really precise. It's going to go behind here, but it's not going to go behind there. This will still be behind him here. So what I might actually do is take my opacity down so I can see where this shoulder and neckline are right here. Because I want this to come behind his shoulder. See if I turn this back on, how that looks. My opacity back up. That looks all right. So, opacity came down to 0. So it's going behind and front, behind and front. This will bend back behind again. So that's starting to look. From there, then I'm gonna make this one. I'm trying to get tricky here. Watch. I'm gonna go eraser. Then this laser is gonna come out in front of his hand. It's going in front. It's gonna go back behind this hand. I probably could have done that a little bit better. Now, the issue with this is that if I don't like what this looks like now, I can't necessarily go back and just fix this stroke because the stroke's gone now, right? That's going to come this way. I'm going to make that go behind his wrist and behind his body. And this last one will go right here. Like that. I have this kind of laser wrap effect that I can add, right? Making it thinner works. Changing the colors works as well if I wanted to. I can go through and I can change these colors. I could probably, let me see, knowing how I can use Photoshop, if I take this layer right here and I lock my pixels, which is this little transparency grid box, if I lock that, I can take this color, I can change it. Let me go with my paintbrush and I will paint. And by locking my pixels, it means it's only going to change the pixels in that layer. So if I go like this and I paint it pink, it's only going to paint the pixels that I have in that layer. And then I'm going to take my effects and I'm going to change this color. That I can go that route. That looks pretty solid too. I might actually take this down a little bit more. My spread. And I would probably take this pink that I just painted and make it actually a little whiter. Yeah, that makes it really glow. See that difference? Because it's so much brighter now. Because it's more white-like. Now it's going to get that glow a lot more. So it's kind of a fun little effect, okay? Here's what we're going to do. I don't want to start teaching you something new going into winter break, because then we're going to take 2 weeks off. We're going to have to come back and we're going to relearn what we did before winter break, and it kind of becomes a pain. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a cool, big, fun project with this. I want you to be able to utilize this technique, okay? And then I also want you to find a tutorial of some other technique that you can share with the class, okay? You will have until Friday, next Friday, to get this thing finished. Hold on one second. you will have until next Friday. So we'll have today, this weekend, if you decide to do that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, we will have our kind of our presentation day. So sorry, it'll be Thursday, and we'll talk about it in class on Friday. So let me show you what I mean, Camille, to answer your question right there that you just posted. What you can do, it's a simple, fun way to kind of kill some time on Photoshop. I can go in Google, Photoshop, effect, tutorial. Oh, it's supposed to show right. Photoshop effect tutorial. And there's a bunch of different stuff that will pop up. Something like this. Adding this cool little glitch-like effect on an image. Taking the image and adding color and smoke to the background of a portrait. Okay. Giving a blur, 3D effect, which we've actually done before in my class. Adding or blending images, so you can blend an image with a liquefied image to change what an actual image looks like. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to try to find a tutorial. And usually how it works is I can go, I don't have to click images. I can go all, and they'll be like here, top 40 effects tutorials. And just kind of find one you think is pretty cool. How to create watercolor effects in Photoshop. How to create Instagram filters in Photoshop. Okay. But you'll try to find a cool effect to put on your image. And then your image, you're going to work this little laser thing in it as well. So you could take individual like I did, and you can work something like this into it. You can make letters out of it, and you can write. I could write Miami in the background and put this glow on it, and it'd be the same effect, right? I could take a picture of a car and have lasers wrapping around it like it's all crazy fast. I want you to be creative in how you can utilize this feature right here. Whether you're using it in text, or you're creating your own image, or you're contributing to an image. But then the part of your research is trying to find something that you think would be a cool thing to add to it. Obviously, doing watercolor effects in Photoshop might not work well with that presentation that I just showed you, right? But something like, go back to this preview, something like this, Apple, something like that might, something like this might for sure. If you find out how to put flames onto somebody, here's one right here. They took this picture of this person, they put a fireball in his hand, and then it had light's going to glow off and stuff like that. So try to find a tutorial. I would recommend you maybe taking the rest of the day today to look for a tutorial that interests you, that you want to try to mess with and try to be able to create. Usually they're set up in steps. So let's see, like in this one. Oh, this is a Pinterest. Let's see if it takes us to a site that gives us our steps. So this one right here apparently is a video. So what this one will do, I don't think you can hear it, which is fine. Yeah. So this one, if you see this, it will just walk you through step by step. Like this. They don't even use any language. You can't hear it. Talks about layer masks, which we haven't gotten into. Talks about dropping a paintbrush. Usually they provide this stuff for you, these shapes. And what will happen is, let me see, go back to this page. Let me see if I can open this actual feed. So if I go to his actual YouTube page, don't make me look like a fool. Usually, yep, there you go. They have, especially if there's a YouTube video, they'll have a link to the brush that they used or other brushes you can download, other files and stuff. And there's these other tutorials. But these are like the two things that he used to create this. So he's not expecting you to make your own. He says, hey, this brush is right here. This second brush, which is all this glitchy things, is right there, and you can use those. Okay. I don't want you to do anything that'll make you feel uncomfortable. So try to find something that kind of fits your style. And then what we'll do is you'll kind of share with us, like, hey, here's my final project or product, and this is how I went about doing it. Here's a cool one. Looks kind of like what we just went through. The little glow in the background. Okay. So basically, research. Have some fun. Check some things out. Okay. Try to push yourself a little bit and try to find something that'll be cool you can share with the rest of us that can inspire us to make some cool stuff as we go on. Okay. Questions you have? This video has been recorded, so I'll post it in with the assignment when I get that posted. And if you don't have any questions, you can go ahead and start researching. You can hop off and start researching, or hang out and ask me some questions.